did the pledge.
Okay, good evening. Call the meeting to order. This is the East Lyme Board of Selectmen, regular meeting of February 18th, 2026. We're in the East Lyme Town Hall upper meeting room. We've already recited the Pledge of Allegiance earlier at our budget meeting a few minutes ago. So we'll start with additional agenda and consent calendar items. Are there any additional items to be added to the agenda? No, I'm not aware of any.
No.
Okay. Are there any public delegations that would like to address the Board of Selectmen this evening? Any public delegations? Any public delegations? Seeing none, we will move on to the approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of January 13th, 2026?
Move to approve the special meeting minutes of January 13, 2026 as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any changes or corrections?
I'll let you do that.
Okay. Is there any discussion or changes? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Do I hear a motion to approve the public hearing minutes of January 21st, 2026?
Move to approve the public hearing minutes of January 21st, 2026 as submitted.
All right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion regarding the public hearing minutes of the 21st? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next, do I hear a motion approving the regular meeting minutes of January 21st, 2026?
So moved.
Move to approve the regular meeting minutes of January 21st, 2026 as submitted.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion? Any changes? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Do I hear a motion to approve the special meeting minutes of February 10th, 2026?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Any corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Do we have a consent calendar tonight? I think we do. Yes, we do. Wow.
Beefy one.
Yeah. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move to approve the consent calendar for February 18, 2026 in the amount of $48,943.68.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, a lot of adjustments. It's end of the tax year, so. Yep,
Overpayments, it looks like.
Overpayments.
Adjustments.
looks pretty straightforward.
Okay.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. We're not carrying anything over from the earlier meeting tonight, so we will pass on budget deliberations for tonight.
Do we have to vote on adding that, the next date in? No, we don't. Oh, I'm asking because I
No.
see it over here listed.
No, we can just do that by agreement and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah, we'll just file an agenda and that'll take care of it. Okay, looks like there's no old business. New business, affirmation of the appointment of Denise Hall as Deputy Treasurer. The Treasurer has the authority to appoint a Deputy Treasurer, and Denise Hall was appointed by the Treasurer, and this is just an acknowledgement of that appointment.
Denise, that's a great choice.
Yeah, I
She's
also,
incredibly
Yeah.
talented there.
so I also wanted to say too that I did speak to the treasurer, Bob Curry. He was highly in favor of her, and I also spoke to Kevin Gervais, and he was also in favor of her. So I'm definitely in favor of her, as she was also the chair of the Board of Finance for the past few years.
Yeah,
Agreed,
she's an excellent resource for them, and they're fortunate to have her. So
Yep.
I want to thank Denise for agreeing to be the deputy treasurer.
Yeah, I think she's a great asset.
Oh, absolutely.
Do we need to make a motion?
No.
or anything?
No,
No,
it's
it's
just an
just
affirmation.
just a mentioning of it, and so we're all aware of it. And,
Okay.
Yep.
I affirm this affirmation.
Okay, so now, do I hear a motion to schedule a town meeting for March 4th, 2026? First, for the water and sewer bonding.
Move the following. Notice is hereby given of a special town meeting of the town of East Lyme to be held on Wednesday, March 4th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the East Lyme Town Hall, Upper Meeting Room, 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, for the following purposes. 1. To receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a resolution entitled, quote, "Resolution appropriating $6 million for the planning, design, acquisition, construction, and replacement of the Colony Road Bridge over Latimer Brook, bridge number 05623, a federal local bridge program project, and related infrastructure, and authorizing the issuance of $6 million bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 2. To consider and act upon a resolution entitled Resolution Appropriating $6 million for the planning, design, acquisition, construction, and replacement of the Colony Road Bridge over Latimer Brook, bridge number 05623, a federal local bridge program project, and related infrastructure, and authorizing the issuance of $6 million bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 3. To receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a resolution entitled, quote, "A resolution making appropriations aggregating $2 million for the construction of modifications, upgrades, and improvements to the East Lyme water treatment plant projects, and authorizing the issuance of $2 million bonds of the town to meet said appropriations, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. 4. To consider and act upon a resolution entitled, "A resolution making appropriations aggregating $2 million for the construction of modifications, upgrades, and improvements to the East Lyme water treatment plant projects, and authorizing the issuance of $2 million bonds of the town to meet said appropriations, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose." 5. To approve a special appropriation for the Public Works Department of $12,267 from NIP funds for cleaning town catch basins. 6. To transact any other proper business to come before the town meeting. The full text of the proposed resolution is on file and open to public inspection at the office of the town clerk, dated at East Lyme, Connecticut, this 18th day of February 2026, East Lyme Board of Selectmen.
All right, go ahead.
Seconded.
I had a question, yeah.
Do you, you go ahead, because I think you see it too.
Well, so on the front sheet on the agenda, it has different numbers. Do we know why that is, Sandy?
It's 38 on the front and then 12 on the back.
Is that an artifact from an earlier?
I thought it was that 38 was what we had, and that 12 was going to them. I didn't think.
I might have pulled the wrong number.
Yeah, that's my memory.
Yeah,
that
that's what
it
I
was
thought. I'm
38
looking back
that
at my
was
notes.
kind of totality,
Yes.
and that we were giving them.
Yeah, so the numbers in the motion are correct.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. Okay. I think that was just an artifact from an earlier agenda that got carried. Yep.
So is this a motion to,
Schedule the meeting.
Schedule a town
Schedule
meeting.
the town meeting.
no, the 38,000, the NIPS funds?
Yeah, that was already done.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
part of the
okay.
motion, but it's really 12,267.
267.
Yeah. So we just should
So we
correct
need a
that.
second?
Yeah.
Seconded.
I'll second.
We got a second? Okay,
Oh,
great.
he already did? Okay.
All right, then with that understanding and correction to the agenda, All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Being none, motion carries. Okay,
Let's discuss.
so now, we've had the opportunity, included in the packet, we had copies of the, we good? We're going to discuss the short-term rentals?
I don't know if I have a
Wait,
packet.
I'm,
I have an old one, like from,
I have not had an opportunity to review it, and I would like to say,
It was,
so,
okay, so,
could we delay this to, if there isn't a deadline, could we delay this to our next meeting?
or we could, maybe we could delay it to our regular, to the next regular meeting?
May I,
Sure.
can I please, I mean, this has been kind of on the back burner now
Right.
for an incredibly long time. So both of those, documents were emailed to us.
Yes.
So no, I would prefer that we actually get into it, at least start having conversation about it. I mean, I feel like it just keeps getting kicked down the.
is this the document that was produced like a year ago? Or like, if not more,
So
Gary
there were-
spoke?
It's actually the very same documents that
Mark-
Ann Santoro came in here with, and the sentiment from Gary.
Yeah, well, it was, one was
Yeah,
March,
yeah.
March of 2025.
So we've had them for a year,
Yeah.
but
well, the other issue too that's relevant is that the zoning
Let's talk generally
commission
about it.
has now formulated a subcommittee to review the short-term rentals. So I think it's important that we do discuss it, at least start a discussion. But
No, I'm going to, I'm happy to,
I mean, at least start it.
yeah, let's do the big ideas here.
so, yeah, I guess
Can
whatever.
we pass it to you?
So, I guess in the broadest terms, the question is, do we, if anything is done at all, I mean, there are three major options. One is to do nothing. That's always an option in anything, in any endeavor. The other option is to let zoning control it if they see fit by zoning regulation. Then the other option is for the Board of Selectmen to control it by ordinance. So you have do nothing, but zoning promulgate regulations, let the Board of Selectmen promulgate an ordinance.
Right, okay, so straight out of the gate, I am not in favor and or support of doing nothing. I think that something has to happen here, and it needs to have support from us. That's where I'm at with that. Secondly, for zoning, my understanding is that if zoning, and correct me if I'm wrong, please.
Yeah.
So if zoning takes this on, it's kind of weedy because of the different beach communities. Is that accurate? Or, so it's not cut and dry, and this is why I like to talk, right? Because
Yeah,
you
no,
can
this
hear
is
me
good.
and you and everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so you have several beach associations,
Right.
and is it three?
three of them have
They have zoning.
And they kind
the
of have their
others
own
don't.
thing, right?
Right, and their
Have
zoning
zoning.
trumps our town
Exactly.
zoning.
Yep. Right.
So if this were to be regulated in some way by zoning, through zoning regulations, it would not cover those beach associations. They would be able to avoid the zoning regulations.
Right, so let's just, for example, say a directory of short-term rentals would
Yeah.
develop those types of things. They wouldn't necessarily have to abide by that, or
They could have their own, they have their own
they have their
zoning.
own?
Yeah, so their zoning would exist in parallel with the town zoning, but they don't have to adhere to the town zoning regulations. They have to adhere to their own zoning. So a beach association could enact their own regulations. But I think what happens then, at least from my, and I don't know what everybody thinks, but now you're gonna have, you know, a lot of different schemes that are
Yeah.
operating within the town.
And
Right, it's gonna get even weedier.
Yeah.
It is.
it's going to be way too confusing.
Yeah.
There was, from the report dated April 1st, on page like 12 through, let me just see. This is what I think people should focus on. To me, it made things clearly. It basically said the different options, and they were kind of laid out on pages 12 through, I think it's like 18, it looks like.
Yeah.
And
12 to
what
18.
we can do, so like option one, and I'll just kind of go through them quickly, and people can kind of, you know, start thinking. The first one is a full ban on all short-term rentals. So that would be not allowing them, and that would be accomplished by a townwide ordinance. Now, what that would do is then it would not allow people who, you know, depend upon it to do short-term rentals. So
Right.
that's like option one. And there's more involved, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm just kind of
These
giving
are the
you.
broad
But
brush.
again,
Broad.
but again, the beach communities have their own, and if they allow it, they
No, no,
cannot
no.
allow it.
Not if it's by
No,
ordinance.
not if it's by ordinance.
Okay.
An ordinance
Okay,
would
that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. So
cover.
these are the different kind of options that
Okay.
I
So
just
do you
kind
wanna
of
just
want to.
kinda go through the options and then
And
get
then-
feedback
Yeah.
after?
Yeah.
we do
And just
that?
kind
Do
of
that.
just
Okay.
Start
go
talking a
through
little
them
bit
and
about the
then
pros and
people
cons.
can, all right.
Yeah, I like this.
Other one, option two, and if you look at this, it kind of goes through the pros and the cons, and, you know, I can either read it or people can read it themselves, but option two is banning future short-term rentals and grandfathering in existing short-term rentals. So that would basically stop the proliferation of short-term rentals by banning new short-term rentals and grandfathering in the others. But then what this would do, like one of the cons on this is, you'd have to go a case-by-case approach, and you'd have to give evidence that you had a short-term rental. Then you'd have to say, okay, if we have a short-term rental, what issues or what bar do they have to present, or what evidence to show they're a short-term rental, and the timing of it and all that. So but that's another option.
So what you're saying is if option two were selected,
Yeah,
you would ban any in the future,
yeah,
and that is, you know, there's concerns about how that would
yeah.
look. But there's also, in grandfathering the existing ones, what the criteria would be to establish that you are in fact an existing short-term rental. Is it enough that you
You
just,
would,
Like a
yeah,
registry.
you would need to
Yeah,
have
what-
hearings for each applicant.
Right.
You know, and then if somebody was denied,
and you have to have criteria. I mean, is
I
it
think-
one weekend you did it, and now you're an SDR, or you've been doing it for?
and I think
So
that
there's a
leads
lot
to
of, I
moving
think,
parts
potential
on that.
litigation, yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Now, the other option three is a limited ban on short-term rentals, so you allow them only in the beach communities with the zoning boards. So it's not a town-wide ban on short-term rentals. The option would ban short-term rentals in town, but would allow them in the 3 beach communities with their own zoning entities to determine how they want to address them. But then this also, what this would do is, it would not allow the other beach communities to have their short-term rentals. Do you know what I mean?
Beach
So
communities
somebody
that
would be
don't have
allowing it.
zoning,
If they didn't have it,
their
then
own
it wouldn't
zoning.
be underneath the ordinance. So that's another option that I'm not too in favor of personally.
Yeah, because
All
then we
right.
have to police it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, and that's, you know, there's always cost
Yeah, we can,
involved.
yeah.
Okay, so option 4 is a limited ban on short-term rentals. You control the number by caps and regulate their operations. Cons of this is regulations can be considered overly burdensome and arbitrary, and they can be contested in court as unreasonable. And I think one of the lawyers stood up and already said that if there's a cap or if there's anything arbitrary, saying that this is, they're gonna go to court. So,
Not to mention the fact that town hall would have to administer all that, and they would have to, that would
yes,
fall
and
to somebody.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Okay. Option 5 is allow unlimited short-term rentals with no regulations. So, option allows short-term rentals anywhere in town with no regulations. So, the con on this one is the town would have no control over the proliferation of short-term rentals, and it would change the character of the town forever, basically. And, being here on the Board of Selectmen, that's not something I want. I think a lot of people move here, because of the character of the town. And the other thing is, it kind of says to the world, we're open for business and anybody can come in and do that. Option 6 is define short-term rentals to allow for vacation rentals for a period of time less than 30 days, but more than a week. And this one gets a little more confusing. So the reason that you would allow a short-term rental for more than a week is because there's a tax loophole.
Right.
And it's kind of a confusing tax loophole. But there was an example, I'm just gonna find it, give me 1 second, please. That allows, if it's a short-term rental for less than 7 days, hold on, there was an example here of how much,
Well,
basically
I can talk about
don't
the
have-
concept if you.
yeah, if you
If you-
can, I'm just trying to find,
Yeah,
there was an example
so-
in here.
If you have a short-term rental for less than 7 days, then, we're all familiar with W-2 income, right? We get a W-2. And, if you have a small business and you take a loss, you can offset some of your W-2 income. And I'm not giving tax advice to anybody that's listening to this, disclaimer. But you can offset some of your income if you can take a loss on that short-term rental if it's less than 7 days. If it exceeds 7 days, then there is kind of a gray area in between 7 days and 30 days where you still have an opportunity to offset W-2 income, but you have to jump through a few more hoops.
Yeah.
If it's 30 days, it has the average, there's an average that you have to meet, and there's some other participation in the rental that you have to, maybe you have to make breakfast for the people that are there or clean the garden,
You have to be
Or
more
like a
like
bee-
you have to be more
concierge.
involved. You have
Yeah,
to be
concierge.
participatory in the rental itself.
So-
If you do those things, you can take advantage of the tax break.
Yeah, so there was an
Okay.
example they gave, and it's at the end in one of the exhibits, and it said that, let me see, basically they said you have an average stay of 5 days, and she can use, let me see.
Who's
This
gonna
is
keep track
confusing.
of?
Well, the way that I think that we could keep track of this is you can hire companies to go through like Airbnb and make sure that people aren't like advertising it for, or for more than the time frame that we choose, whatever that time frame is. And I don't think it's cost prohibitive to do something like that. Because I think if you start trying to say, okay, we're gonna have you fill out forms and we're gonna do this and that, it's gonna be a big cost to the town. The other thing is, if you redefine short-term rentals as say more than 7 days, right, then you're gonna avoid some of the other issues that come up with short-term rentals, pluses such as parking issues, the noise, the garbage,
Yeah.
like bachelor parties, the party house where you would go for a weekend or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So that's kind of it. So it's in this people should review for themselves. What's the one dated April 1st, 2025? That's what I
I
think.
just wanted to say something really quick.
Yeah.
I did one in Washington State, a short term. And what they do is they have different types of short term, and you actually have to display your what type it is, and it's through the town, so they have to apply for this license So, and this costs money to apply for your license with the town. And then it tells you, you know, what your restrictions are and stuff like that. So it's a little more like structured.
Then we have to pay
It's a lot.
for enforcement and, inspection. So you have to, it creates a whole administrative apparatus underneath that.
It does, you need a structure of
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it
services
generates
for-
revenue, then we could
Right.
do that.
Right, I'm just saying we could have that aspect of it if we did it and, you know.
So really, this is percolated up for some sort of control, and correct me if I'm wrong, really because it's been misused, right? I mean, it's overly used. We've had rental opportunities, summer-based, for decades, for
Right.
like
It's-
centuries. Like it's
right.
been happening.
Right,
But now, because of the marketing, the
The
advertisement,
Airbnb.
the Airbnbs,
That's why.
and how they're overutilized, you essentially party homes, that type of thing, with no regard, for community and that type of thing. It's out of hand. At least that was why I think that this even started. Okay?
Correct.
So then you've got legalities involved, and then you've got constitutional rights, and who are you to say what you can do with a I mean, so many different, very weedy to say the least. But we also need to have expectations within our community, right? And kind of trying to find the best balance for us, taking into consideration maybe the beach communities clearly, right? We've got to have some sort of structure, but it has to be manageable structure. It can't be overreach structure. We should have some sort of
Right.
of guidelines.
that's why I'm thinking, like, the different type of license, if you know, and VRBO, and let's just say some of those, for example, they rate the people who rent. So if I'm gonna rent to someone, I wanna make sure that person I'm gonna rent to has got a good rating, because they're in my house. And I also wanna respect my neighbors, so, so the person rates the landlord, and the landlord rates the tenant. And it's you can kind of get a good idea before you rent your place what kind of rating they have through these
So-
companies.
But that's relying on the
Yes,
owner
you're right.
to self-regulate. So,
You're right.
I mean, that's not something that the town as a body politic can engage in regulation, I don't
But if
think.
they get a complaint on license number 5500, and maybe they're only allowed one complaint, and you get your license pulled.
So that would be like we give over that enforcement to, or some kind of control. We just give that over to the market basically, and whoever is running these services will kind of take care of that. So it's like a market-based solution to that aspect.
Probably to some degree,
Well,
yes.
So can I ask something in terms of just an overarching timeline here?
Sure.
We've picked up this issue after a year. It's been a long time,
It's been
and we
going
should
on.
not have done it so long. But we picked it up because zoning is picking it up.
No, we've been
We've just been kicking it, it's something that's out there that
Okay.
at some point we should
Well,
talk
it's-
about it.
Okay,
Deal
it
with
sounds like we are in agreement that it should be controlled through ordinance and not through zoning. So we can at least decide on that this evening,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I
Okay.
agree.
So then we have 6 options, and honestly, there's probably more options that we need to think of. Could we think of like criteria for ranking options? I mean, there's like burdensome to the homeowners, burdensome to the town employees, revenue generation. Like what is important here?
Well, I
mean,
think,
maybe
I
that's the
think,
Potential
value.
legal costs to the town
Okay.
for
Yeah.
when something goes
Right.
awry.
right,
I
that's
mean,
true,
you know,
yeah.
Every time someone feels aggrieved, we're gonna have to hire.
Is there any way that we can require the licensees to have insurance for stuff like that?
Again, you
Can
have to
that
have
be
the
part of the
administrative-
requirement?
It's
folks.
all the administrative, that's.
Well, it
what
is
the
gonna be
cost
an
is.
administrative,
Yeah.
because they just have to verify they have the proper insurance. And
I almost feel like it's less is more, right? So like when you're creating a contract, less verbiage is better, right?
Less
You
is
try-
more.
Well, depending, right? Depending.
Depending,
But
yeah.
I mean, because certain things can really kind of, they can hang you up. And what is manageable for us and what isn't. So one of the things that kept coming up was the noise ordinance, right? We actually have a noise ordinance. but it can't really be policed or assessed in any way because we don't have some special equipment.
Yes.
And I'm going on memory, right?
Yes, no, you're right,
when-
exactly.
We don't have a
Yeah.
decimal meter.
Right, we don't
Yeah.
have the decimal meter. So, I mean, what if there's someone that wants to run a business as an VRBO, I do think that possibly looking at some sort of registry or some sort of something that they must register in town so that we are aware of it.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
I saw that
start
Senator Summers, I think, is
small.
introducing legislation to do just that statewide.
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
I think so. Someone else backed me up on that.
That I don't know.
I mean,
can
I know
make a
this
note of
is
it
a,
and just
Yeah,
I
know.
just think it's been introduced. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
think
this
it's...
isn't just a challenge for East Lyme, it's been a challenge,
No.
you
Yeah,
know,
for the
all
country.
over,
Communities
for
throughout the
sure.
state, especially by the shore.
and there are attached to, I think it's the one dated March 2025, they have the, different towns have, made ordinances, like no ink, I think just ban them completely, and then there's one from Lyme and one from Basra also.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I'm not in favor of the banning, but I can see and understand why some are, because they're in a position like we are, and they're like, yeah, I don't wanna deal with that. But then you have to look at kind of
Yeah.
the pros and cons of that. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of good that comes from, you know, people coming into our town. We do have a tourist based. We do. People like to come here. They spend money here.
Yeah.
You know, they're up and down. I mean, we have a place that people love to come to visit. And the truth is quite a few of our businesses are reliant on that foot traffic, are reliant on, you know,
Right.
people that come in the
Businesses,
summertime and our events that we have.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to get into a situation where I'm cutting my nose off despite my face. That's really going to benefit, you know, a lot of people.
can I
here,
like
so.
send this to you guys just so you can see what this says in it? And because it really does explain, you know, the fire life
Why don't you
safety
send
review.
it to Sandy,
Yeah.
and then she
I'll send
can-
it to you,
Yeah,
Sandy,
Yeah,
and then
she can.
it's just
give
I
it.
took a picture of it on purpose, and there's there's a few pages of it so that because I
Yeah.
know I had heard it being talked about, but the good neighbor policy agreement. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. So let me send it to you, and maybe we'll get a copy to everybody. I thought it was a wonderful idea to at least for the town to be able to keep track and have them pay for these licenses so that helps offset anything else.
Can I say something? I know, I don't
Please.
wanna throw, but right now, does it kind of fall in line with the lodging licenses that the fire marshal oversees?
Yeah.
Is that something that could fall under that kind
I'm
of
not
a
sure.
bucket?
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't know enough
that
about
I'm
that.
not
Yeah,
sure.
some structure has to be created. I'm with Candace. I don't want to say no completely because I think
Right.
property owners have a
No,
right
I
to
don't
do what
think
they
you
want to
can say
do
no.
to a
I
certain
don't think-
extent.
No, I think that it's really a part of the town,
Yeah,
but I think you need to protect the people who are,
Right.
you
it's
know,
just been abused.
upset.
It's been
But,
abused.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it
and
can
you
be,
certainly
yeah.
don't want them just proliferating everywhere. I mean, that's not, and it really only changed because of all everything online with the Airbnb, the VRBOs. Before that,
Technology
it was
changed
kind
it.
of, yeah,
Yeah.
it was different.
So it sounds like the conversation is centering around perhaps 4, which would be a limited ban with some kind of caps and some kind of administrative structure or some kind of fencing in of this.
The problem is, as soon as you get into an administrative structure, I mean, here we are struggling with a budget.
This is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're talking
Understandable.
about
Yep.
you're talking about lawyers, you're talking about
Yep.
personnel, you're talking about clerks, you're talking about part-time people to monitor this.
Yeah,
It's-
we're opening ourselves up for litigation if we go that route.
I think so. I think you're right. And
But you're gonna find
it's
that
tough
anyway,
enough
I
in
think.
zoning
Yeah.
to regulate, you know, if you have a house that, you know, has a problem with it and you're trying to enforce regulations, it's tough enough to enforce zoning regulations as it is. One thing though is, I mean, we already do have a structure where we do have these beach associations that do have their own set of rules. And that is even more, and it's very localized. So you have a group of people that live in an area that have, you know, summer homes or year-round homes, but that belong to the association. I mean, maybe it's not so bad for them to regulate in their small community the people that live there how they want it to be. Is that such a bad thing?
Well, can we partner with them to ask them to do so? I mean, or?
Well, they already do. I mean, they have their own regulations, right?
Yeah.
And they could engage in changing their regulations to change what is permissible. But, you know, if it runs afoul of some law, it's going to be their legal fees, not the town's, that defends it.
So this would be idea 3, limited ban, letting the beach communities take their,
Just let them be, let them do what they're already doing.
But zoning then would probably step in and, well, I don't know what zoning's
Some of them
considering.
have their
but-
own zoning.
Yeah,
So
but
we
then
have our own
there's
zone,
others, there's other beach communities
That
that
don't.
don't have zoning. So, you
Right.
know, I'm concerned, you know, what if you go and you want to rent something, you know, a rental, right? And just based upon where you live in, where you go in town, it would be based upon what you have to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that something should be consistent
Throughout the
across the
town.
town. That's the way I see it. And so then it's like
Fair.
simple.
Simple's a
Do you
good
know what I
word.
mean?
Yeah,
Simple.
because
You
none
know
of
what I mean?
this
Well,
is.
Because then
But it creates
otherwise
another
people are
layer.
gonna
Well,
be
simple-
confused, and then.
what about zoning if they already have an enforcement agent and that would create a situation like you're talking about, like we already have this control, we have someone to enforce this, it's difficult, but it already exists. Perhaps a limited, or perhaps just even giving it to zoning and saying,
But they're
how do you guys
overwhelmed,
want to do
too.
this?
I mean,
Yeah, no,
it's
I
a
mean-
reach now for them to meet their obligations that they
Yeah.
already have on their plate. I mean, that's my concern. I know,
Yeah.
I see how it is,
Yeah.
and I'm concerned about that.
So
Um,
what I was gonna say is, I kind of think this is a good discussion,
Yep.
but I
Yeah.
don't know if people want to kind of like read through this stuff.
I think that's a good idea.
Think about it.
We've
now
talked
that
about it.
Kind of brought up the different
Yeah.
issues,
No, I
Yeah.
think it's a
and then
good
we
idea.
can kind of
Yeah.
readdress it.
Readdress it.
We'll
revisit
read
it,
what-
and-
What we get from Cindy,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
I'll,
just a little more information.
yeah,
that's
and
all.
just clarify things.
well, this is a nice start. At least we're
Yeah.
picking up the topic. We've started to discuss it in very broad terms, and hopefully we can come,
Oh,
Sandy, I need to get that sent to me because I don't have it in my email.
I think it was, okay.
all right, that can be done.
All right.
All right, so, well, this was a good discussion, and I'm glad we started it. And we'll just put it on a future agenda in a few weeks, after everybody's really had a chance to look things over.
I wasn't sure if it was mine. Okay.
Do we have any ex officio reports tonight?
I'll do zoning.
Okay, Roseanne, ex officio?
So this was a public hearing, which occurred at the last zoning meeting, and this was in regards to the new development proposed for, from, out behind
Park Place?
Park Place, yeah, the book barn. So if you haven't driven out there to see the proposed location, I would suggest that you do. The,
Where is it?
it's behind, it's,
East Coast Taco.
The big book
Yeah.
barn?
yeah,
Yeah.
parallel to book barn, but going to the side of it. The room was packed.
It was.
There wasn't a chair available. I would say there were at least 35 people in the room.
matter where.
There were people standing out in the hall. There were people leaning up against the back wall. And people left without even being able to speak. It was so lengthy. So the proposal is for, under affordable housing, 66 units. The first proposal had several one-bedroom condos, and then the rest would be two bedrooms. When they came back the second time, the one bedrooms were removed, and they would all be two bedrooms.
He's red.
Only 18 of the roughly 30 units, less than 18 would be affordable. So if you figure not only the size of the building and the height of the buildings, then you figure the number of cars that would be there. if you're going to have a two-bedroom condo, you're probably going to have two cars. There's really no parking. There's one way in and one way out. These are all small individual homes that are in there that were built in the late 50s, early 60s. Traffic pattern there is very poor. You can imagine in the summertime with the number of people that already go to Book Barn, you have to wonder where all of these cars would be, what the parking facilities would be. So there was a lot of discussion, also proposal that sidewalks be extended so that if there were children, they could walk to Niantic Center. But traffic and safety, as we know, there's no sidewalks in that area. Traffic, safety, vision issues. So the public hearing was closed. There's no more testimony. And they have 65 days from February 5th to make a decision.
65?
Yeah, from February 5th. So there's no more time for public comment, unfortunately. A large number of the people, I would say probably only half of the people that were here were able to speak. Many people were very well prepared, had placards and diagrams, but although this is not going to come to us directly for a vote, I think it would be important for you to go and take a look at the property, the possibilities, and what this would mean, particularly as we get more of these proposals, and the fact that this has now become, affordable housing has become much more profitable for the developers because only 10% of the project has to be affordable, and the rest is market value. So considering the number of people that were really there to express opinions, I just feel very strongly that each of you should take a drive out there and kind of form your own opinions. That's it for me.
This was called Parker Place?
Park
Park
Place.
Place.
Park Place?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then, just a question maybe for Dan. Is there an issue with sewer capacity there?
Yes.
Or was that already
They've-
grandfathered in?
They applied for it before.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Before the
they're
moratorium.
grandfathered
Yeah.
in, that's what I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, they have sewer capacity.
And if you drive in through there, not only the driving pattern, it's really a half circle. Drive in and then circle around and exit. And then if you take a look up on the hill, as you're driving in on the left side, if you take a look up on the hill, the adjoining property, then you are looking at the back of another affordable housing development that was built a few years ago.
Right, and they're still not done.
No?
Right, they're still building there.
So wait. I'm
That's
trying
all
to
my
figure out
excitement.
Where this place is though, because you got Book Barn here.
It's
the
that,
street.
it's
It's the next street
literally,
over.
as you're driving up and you see the Book Barn too,
Yeah.
right, which already is struggling with parking, and that, they actually
Yeah.
have somebody out there.
Is it to
It
the
is
left?
no, it is a very quick right. It's very small, and I have been there. I am fully aware it is certainly not a prime space in any
And they
way,
wanna
shape,
put
or form.
60
So they
units.
want to add the 60 units, which people, I mean, I watched that meeting. The house, it was definitely standing room only. Very passionate, very collected. People that came and spoke fantastically. No sidewalks, and also when you think about the size of these, the sewer capacity issues, the challenges that we have, and it's probably going to bring more students into the school district for sure. And when I get to my report, we'll talk about redistricting and what that's going to be looking like for the Board of Education, and that we're busting at the seams with 3 schools. So it really is putting a huge challenge, on our town, for sure.
Thank you.
The commission asked if the developers would be willing to put in the sidewalk
They said no.
and, or at least a wider pathway so that people could theoretically, for exercise and so on, walk downtown. And they said, no, it was not their responsibility.
Yeah, well, it's not required.
Because it's not required.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roseanne. Thanks for that
Shame on the
report, so
developer.
we're all aware. Jason?
I would just like to speak about what I went through last night, just so everyone knows. I wasn't at the meeting because I went up to the Capitol to testify in front of the Appropriations Committee. The details are 350 people were there to testify. I was randomly assigned 78 as my number. I was there, I don't know, about 4 or 5 hours. It wasn't entirely easy to know where to go and how to park and do all that, but this is kind of an effort by a statewide coalition to get municipal leaders up in Hartford testifying and drawing attention to the problems that we're facing. So it was very much connected to what's going on in East Lyme. You know, I asked for increase in per pupil allotment so we'd have more funding for education, and so did everybody else that was there. It was pretty unanimous that schools need more money. So it was a good experience, and I hope that maybe you guys will join me at some point up there, and we'll figure out a way to make sure East Lyme's needs are represented up in Hartford.
Oh, I would absolutely join you. Just
Thank you, Jason.
I've done it. I've been there, done it. I've done it in person and also via phone for numerous different reasons.
Yeah, you can Zoom. You can Zoom.
Yeah,
too.
you can zoom in. It is more impactful, I think, in person, and it is
Yeah.
an experience. It's fantastic.
It really is. This one woman got up and she spoke about her personal experience without any prepared remarks, and it was probably the most memorable testimony. Everybody else
Yeah.
just kind of gets up there and dashes through their one page as quick as they can before the time limit goes off.
Yeah, I don't think people realize really the impact from the money, the lack thereof, right, that's coming down from the state of Connecticut and how it's impacting different school districts in different ways. But at the end of the day, the majority of municipalities are busting at the seams. It's budget time, and people don't understand, why we have to pay so much money for school education. Well, we do have to pay to educate children, but the state level, we're getting less and less and less money back for reimbursement, and ultimately that cost is put on on our taxpayers in different districts. So it's unsustainable,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Well, going forward, if any opportunities come up, I'll share them with Sandy and Dan and hopefully
That's
distribute
why
to the board.
it's so important to be heard up in Hartford. And
Yes.
thank you, Jason. And Candace, from the past, for going up there. It's
Oh, yeah.
important stuff to do.
Did you have an opportunity to speak, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did, okay. That's
Good for
great.
you. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't have too much tonight. I'll be very brief.
I don't think Candace has spoken yet.
Okay, we'll go. All right, yeah.
Yeah, just a couple things. I mean, youth and family and Park and Rec, of course, is budget. Park and Rec, I did see that they are doing a checks and balance with, I think, the Little League in some sort of way. What was the other thing? Oh, for Board of Education, they are looking at redistricting, and going through that entire process on the Board of Ed. When redistricting happened, conversation was public in case or in the interim down the line that redistricting would have to happen again, or realignment, I guess is a better word, possibly because we do have such a fluctuation. We have a high rental base. We have more developments that have come in over the past 5 to 7 years, and now they are looking at and trying to quantify whether or not they're going to be looking to realign or doing a full redistrict, which means possibly bringing a third party in to do that. So there's a cost involved, clearly. I believe they threw out somewhere around 20 to 25,000 or upwards. So they're just looking to see what's going to be best for them and where they can go. And it's still in discussion. They haven't decided on anything. They're looking at, of course, how they're going to pay for that, if that's something that they're going to move forward with, and if it's truly a need. You know, they're looking at, is it something that they could utilize AI services, that type of thing to kind of do, or is it something that they have to go out with? The second thing is that they're having conversation, in public conversation now, about the addition of armed security over at the schools, and you know what that would look like, and then of course going along with what the requirements are at the state level, which we do have all retired police officers within the schools. So they're going to be having that conversation on March 6th, I believe. And oh, good. I thought I had to go pull out my letter, but I believe it's going to be at the middle school, and I do plan to attend. I do think that having the ex officio, the one singular, not having the the rotation has been good. I think it's beneficial for sure.
Yep.
I will be attending that, and I think others should be too. It would change kind of how we do things here, but it might be a good thing. So I'm curious to see how the conversation's going to go, and I applaud them for having courageous conversations.
Okay, so I just looked it up. It's March 12th at the East Lyme Middle School.
Thank you.
It's starting at 6 o'clock.
March
All right,
12th.
so
Yeah,
for
I
March
have it in my
12th,
calendar,
thank you for
yeah.
that.
Oh, great.
Yep.
That's important. That's going to be an important discussion.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what the attitude of the public is.
What time
and,
does that start?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
The other thing too,
Thank you.
they're heavily in budget and
Yep.
stuff, and I do want to preface that we really are we're one town, right? And we all benefit each other, right? So it's cyclical, and we want to prosper and we want to do well. So especially at budget time, it's disheartening at times to listen to people maybe talk negatively on the Board of Education's budget and or the town budget, or all of those different things. So I just really want to navigate the budget season respectfully, and I feel sometimes that they're a little scapegoated, like they're the big bad Board of Ed, when the truth of the matter is we have a school district to be very proud of, okay? And it really is, when I talk about it, it's like we are a goal, okay, for other districts.
Yeah.
They're seeking to be like East Lyme. And spending so much time on the East Lyme School Board, kind of seeing it evolve and being part of that, bringing really incredible people in. We have a superintendent of the year, not an easy feat at all. And having a budget that, you have a lot of state mandates that just are not funded. So we're really trying to, I think, collectively find a good outcome for East Lyme. So I just wanted to kind of say that. I do know that they are asking, their department heads, kind of how I touched on it the other night, about going back, looking at your budgets, shaving off, more. So I'm eager to see what they come back with.
Great. Thank you, Candace. I think it is great that, we have one person there,
Yeah.
a lot more continuity, and that was a good change. And,
Yeah.
and I know you have a great interest in facility with the town there, so thank you. Cindy, do we have?
No, I don't have anything.
And I jumped over you? We good?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
I really, my only ex officio, well, it really isn't my ex officio, but I did attend at the community center. They had their open house a couple weeks ago, and there was some room in the budget on one of the funds that they had, special revenue fund, to make some improvements. So I went down there, and it was really great. They had new carpeting, the new chairs. I think we heard some of that last week when Kristen spoke to us about our budget. But really nice improvements, and there were people there that I could see were really enjoying that space, and it's much more uplifting when you go there. So I'm glad that we were able to do that for them and accommodate that. As everybody knows, we're heavily engaged in the budget, and we came through the capital improvement plan committee, and I think that was very, very successful, and I'm very happy with how that's progressing once it gets presented here. So we're doing the hard work, and we're trying to get to where we need to go on the budget. And as Candace just explained, it isn't all on the Board of Ed. It isn't all on us. It's a partnership, and we have to try to make the changes that we can make and still provide good service to the town, and do it in a way that's efficient. Try to find these areas where we can combine services and maybe achieve efficiency. So.
Oh, can I just one more thing?
Yeah, please.
Actually, I had the opportunity to talk to Nick Menapace and talk about bonding and different opportunities,
Yeah.
and it's really kind of frustrating at times because here we're recognizing these unfunded mandates, right? And we're really struggling,
Yeah.
municipality-wise at times with different things. Yet there is an abundance of money for other things.
Right.
So. It's kind of like a catch-22, but if there are opportunities that can help bring money in, okay, and I preface, I don't, it's not political for me. I don't care what anybody's political party is. If there is money in any type of way that's going to help benefit East Lyme. I am more than happy to help support it, to write letters, to do whatever I can, and I would hope that everybody else would. I would imagine that you would, although I can't speak for you. But he did mention a couple of different things with the seawall, which was great, and then possibly some other...
Some improvements at the community center we think might be something we can.
Yeah,
we can
so
move
I
forward.
did
Trying
say,
to do that.
To kind of keep
Yeah.
our ears and eyes open
Absolutely.
and anything that we can do. And even though I kind of knew the answer when I asked the chief about any opportunities for money, I kind of knew it was going to be a no. I felt like I needed to ask anyway because there is money. So I mean, he had mentioned, I love the outlook, right, of what he really feels is best for our town. I believe in that.
Yeah.
Very
I like it.
impressive.
When he talked about the bike, patrol. It's something that we would really benefit from, and you never know. There might be, down the line, there might be something. So just always try to be, working, as a team for that. So
Well, he certainly has the best interest of the town at heart, and has some great ideas, and we're just in such a better place than we were
Yes.
a year ago, and thankful we have been. But yeah, we're going to keep trying to pull this all together and see what we can come up with that town folks can live with, and we're going to all work together.
Yeah.
And you're right, it doesn't matter what party, we're all working
Yeah,
towards
we're
the
all
same
working
goal,
together.
which is the truth. So, what else was I going to say? It's been a long night, so I think that's it for me. So there's no first selectmen's report beyond that. I don't see any communications from anybody. No public comment. So there's no response. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
You all